President Trump just dropped a bombshell, slapping 25% tariffs on Japan and South Korea starting August 1, 2025. This bold move shakes up global trade, putting America first and rattling two key allies. Is this a genius play to fix trade imbalances, or a risky gamble that'll spike prices? Buckle up as we dive into the winners, losers, and the firestorm this decision ignites. Raw, unfiltered, and straight to the point. President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on all goods imported from Japan and South Korea, effective August 1, 2025, through letters posted on Truth Social addressed to Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba and South Korean President Jae-myung. The move, reported by Reuters and the New York Times, targets what Trump calls persistent trade imbalances with these Asian allies, aiming to force renegotiations of trade deals to favor American interests. Trump warned that any retaliatory tariffs from Japan or South Korea would lead to even higher U.S. levies, a threat that underscores his aggressive America First stance. This decision, part of a broader wave of tariff letters to 12 other nations, including Malaysia, Kazakhstan, South Africa, Myanmar. This tariff announcement is a home run for the Trump administration's image among its core supporters. By targeting Japan and South Korea, two economic powerhouses, Trump projects strength and delivers on his promise to tackle trade deficits head-on. His base, fed up with globalist policies that they see as selling out American workers, cheers this as a bold stand against nations profiting off U.S. markets. The letters, which Trump himself shared on Truth Social, frame the tariffs as a response to long-term, unsustainable trade deficits caused by foreign trade barriers, resonating with voters who feel America's been taken for a ride. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's claim, per Reuters, that his inbox is flooded with new trade proposals from other nations, suggests Trump's hardball tactics are forcing global players to the table, boosting the administration's leverage. For Trump's team, this is a win that paints him as a fearless negotiator, unafraid to ruffle feathers to put American jobs and industries first. For everyday Americans, the future benefits of these tariffs could be a mixed bag, but the pro-Trump angle sees a clear upside. The tariffs aim to protect U.S. manufacturing, especially in sectors like autos and steel, where Japan and South Korea dominate. By making their goods pricier, Trump's pushing companies to build factories in the U.S. As he explicitly stated in his letters, no tariffs for those who build or manufacture here. This could mean more jobs in places like Ohio or Michigan, where factories have been gutted by global competition. For the working-class American, this signals a revival of Made in USA pride, potentially bringing back blue-collar jobs lost to decades of globalist trade deals. If Japan and South Korea shift production to the U.S., as Trump urges, it could pump money into local economies, from small towns to industrial hubs, giving Americans a shot at better wages and stability. Inside the U.S., the impact is a double-edged sword. Trump supporters see this as a gut punch to globalist elites who've let foreign nations flood U.S. markets with cheap goods. The tariffs could shield American workers in industries like automotive and electronics, where Japan and South Korea's exports, think Toyota, Samsung, and Hyundai, have long held sway. However, the immediate hit will be higher prices for consumers. Cars, TVs, and smartphones could cost more, squeezing middle-class wallets, as noted by Times Now, which reported Wall Street's indexes tanking, with the Dow dropping 456.55 points, 1.02%, on July 7, 2025, after the announcement. The S&P 500 fell 0.86%, and Nasdaq dipped 0.88%, reflecting investor fears of trade wars and inflation. Still, for Trump's base, this pain is a necessary sacrifice to break the cycle of foreign dependence, even if it stings at the checkout line. The administration's bet is that long-term job growth will outweigh short-term price hikes, rallying patriotic voters who prioritize self-reliance over cheap imports. Geopolitically, this move is a high-stakes gamble that shakes up America's role on the world stage. Japan and South Korea are not just trading partners, but critical allies in countering China and North Korea. Trump's tariffs, as Pravda Japan noted, risk straining these alliances, with Democrats accusing him of undermining partnerships vital for U.S. security in Asia. By hitting allies with hefty tariffs, Trump's signaling that economic nationalism trumps diplomatic niceties, a stance that thrills anti-globalist voters but worries those who see strong alliances as a bulwark against China's growing influence. The tariffs could push Japan and South Korea closer to China's orbit, especially as BRICS nations criticize Trump's trade policies, per the New York Times. Yet, Trump's team argues this forces allies to respect U.S. economic power, potentially securing better trade terms that strengthen America's global standing. If negotiations falter, though, it could weaken U.S. influence in Asia, leaving room for China to fill the void. The controversies here are red-hot and impossible to ignore. Democrats, as reported by Pravda USA, slammed Trump for jeoparding tensions with allies, arguing that 25% tariffs on Japan and South Korea jeopardize strategic partnerships at a time when unity against China and North Korea is crucial. Critics also point to the economic fallout, higher consumer prices, and market volatility, as evidenced by Wall Street's sharp drop on July 7, 2025. There's also the risk of retaliation. Trump's letters warned that any counter tariffs would trigger even higher U.S. Levies, setting the stage for a potential trade war. Posts on X, like those from Upper Mishas, highlight failed negotiations with Japan and South Korea, suggesting the tariffs stem from frustration rather than strategy, which could backfire if these nations double down. Another sore point is the timing. With a July 9th deadline looming, Trump extended it to August 1st, per Politico. But critics see this as chaotic, arguing it creates uncertainty for businesses and allies alike. For anti-globalist voters, though, these controversies are just noise, proof Trump's fighting a rigged system to put America first. America, Trump's tariff bomb just lit a fire under global trade. Is this a genius move to save U.S. jobs, or a reckless play hiking your bills? Are you cheering for America first, or worried about pricier cars and TVs? Hit the comments and let us know where you stand. Share your take. Does this make you proud or nervous? Let's get this debate raging. Your voice matters, so jump in and make some noise now.